As she descended the stairs at Anna's house, she cried out for Valentin. When she noticed a bouquet of red roses on the foyer table, she grinned. Valentin's flowers were accompanied by a note stating that he'd gone to work at ELQ, but waking up beside Anna had been wonderful. When she answered the door, she was still smiling. Holly was the one. Holly said that she required Anna's assistance. Holly mentioned that she was looking for work and asked Anna to put her in touch with the WSB. Hannah was perplexed as to why Holly would want to work for the WSB after almost escaping Victor's clutches. Anna was adamant that it wasn't worth it, but Holly emphasized that it was her only option. Holly told Anna about Ethan's problems in Australia, as well as how some of the guys to whom her son was indebted wanted Ethan dead. Holly confirmed that Ethan was a competent card player who would target wealthy guys in order to gain the money he needed to pay off his obligations. Anna recognized that Ethan would make new enemies among the losers of the card games. "If I don't settle his debts, my beautiful son is a dead man walking," Holly declared. Anna told Holly that Robert would want to help because he saw Ethan as the son he had never had. Holly maintained that she couldn't jeopardize both Robert's reputation and profession. When Holly explained that Diane had asked why Holly thought things may work out for Robert and Holly when they hadn't in the past, Anna was surprised. Anna agreed that Diane had made a valid argument, but she warned Holly that Diane had a horse in the race. Holly admitted that she was aware of Diane's love for Robert, which was why Holly was determined to find a legal way to help Ethan. Anna admitted that the new WSB director disliked anyone affiliated with Frisco Jones, but she consented to speak with a few other contacts. After Holly left, a messenger brought Anna a little packet. Robert inquired at the police station if he had gotten a delivery from Judge Taylor's office. The desk sergeant searched but found nothing addressed to Robert. Angry, Robert instructed the officer to take the initiative and find the warrant he had been seeking for. Dante, who was nearby, overheard the heated discussion and approached Robert. Robert said that he'd been waiting for a warrant as part of the Savoy's RICO investigation. Dante, surprised, inquired whether Robert suspected Curtis of misconduct. Robert stated that he was interested in Selena. "So Suleiman and Curtis are running a business together?" Dante inquired. Robert remembered witnessing Selena chatting to Holly the night before at the Savoy, but he pushed the thought away. When Robert noticed the desk sergeant, he inquired about an update. When he learned that the warrant had not been delivered, Robert's mood deteriorated. Dante inquired as to why the police had not been alerted of the probe, but Robert reminded him that he was at the top of the chain. Felicia was happy to spend time with her husband in Metro Court's restaurant, but she wondered what had become of the passionate man she had married. Mac looked up from his phone and stated that after sending multiple text messages, he hadn't heard from Robert. When Mac noticed Diane, he called out to her and invited her to breakfast with him and Felicia. Diane tensed as Mac revealed that he had some concerns about his brother. Diane remained silent, and she calmed when she learned Mac had only been looking for Robert. Because they worked together, Mac had hoped Diane could tell him where Robert was. Diane informed Mac that she didn't keep track of Robert, but she did admit that Robert had some issues that needed to be worked out. Diane walked away as Mac urged her to elaborate. Danny called Mac a few moments later. Felicia strolled over to Diane's table and sat after Mac had departed. Felicia cut to the chase by telling Diane that Robert and Holly's connection had lasted over 30 years. Diane maintained that she was busy looking over notes before court, but Felicia cut to the chase by reminding Diane that Robert and Holly's relationship had stretched over 30 years. Felicia, on the other hand, admitted that Robert might not be ready to uproot his life for Holly. Diane contended that Holly was Robert's true love. "End of story," Diane declared. Felicia acknowledged that she wanted Robert and Holly to be happy, but she knew Diane was concerned about Robert. Felicia admitted that she'd seen Robert with Diane and wasn't sure if Robert and Holly were meant to be together, given his tangled history with Holly. Meanwhile, when Robert returned to the squad room, he was irritated because Judge Taylor had refused to sign off on the warrant. When Robert spotted his brother standing close to Dante, his mood did not improve because Robert assumed Dante had phoned Mac. When Mac insisted on speaking with Robert in private, Robert followed him to the interrogation room. After closing the door, Mac instructed Robert to disregard the warrant because the Savoy was off-limits. Stunned, Robert reminded his brother that Selena was a nightclub frequent. Mac was furious when he learned Robert's interest in Selena was motivated by his concern about Holly. Mac told his brother that he couldn't risk Robert damaging the surveillance he'd installed at the Savoy. Robert, surprised, demanding to know why he hadn't been informed about the probe. "I'm telling you right now." "Stay out of it," Mac said. To Mac's chagrin, Robert refused to budge. So Mac reminded him that he didn't have a signed warrant. "Screw the warrant," muttered Robert. Mac stood motionless as Robert rushed out of the squad room. Curtis checked his phone at the Savoy and noticed a text message from Agent Hursley reminding him that the employment offer with the WSB was still open. Selena entered the pub as Curtis put down his phone. "Welcome home, stranger," Selena welcomed him. She inquired whether a ticker-tape parade was planned to commemorate his valor in Greenland. When Selena stated that she had heard Curtis might be Trina's biological father, the conversation took an unpleasant turn. Curtis was asked if he wanted the DNA test to show that he was Trina's biological father. Curtis' face darkened as he stated emphatically that he had no wish to compound one lie with another since he loved Trina. Selena told Curtis that she believed him, but she added that he was a risk-taker. And she was positive that the operation in Greenland had impressed the WSB since Curtis had accomplished what the WSB had not. Selena suggested that having a daughter might interfere with Curtis's
believed
desired
Selena cared
lifestyle. Whether he was Trina's father or not, but he knew she wanted something from him. Selena reminded him that they were already attached at the hip as business partners. "For now," Curtis explained. Curtis forbade Selena from tampering with the DNA tests. He handed her the bill for the previous evening and walked away. Robert entered the bar a little while later. Selena informed him that Curtis had departed, but Robert assured her that he was still there for her. "What is your grip on Holly Sutton?" Robert inquired. Selena peeked over Robert's shoulder as she suggested he ask Holly. When Robert turned around, he noticed Holly standing behind him. Portia thanked Ava for meeting her at Metro Court's restaurant. When Ava inquired about Trina, Portia stated that she meant to keep Trina safe. Ava promised Portia that she would assist her in any way she could. Portia, pleased, revealed that her connection with Trina was tense, and she hoped that Ava would be able to persuade Trina about Trina's terrible decisions. Ava was curious about the horrible decisions Portia was referring to. The one she made to be with Spencer Cassadine, Portia explained. Portia added that she feared Spencer would be like Nicholas in his arrogance and recklessness. Portia questioned Spencer's character and reminded Ava that Nicholas had slept with his son's fiancée because Nicholas was pampered and unconcerned about the consequences. "That's why I'm so afraid for Trina," Portia explained. Ava convinced Portia that Spencer was good, that Nicholas' influence over Spencer had ceased. Portia said that Nicholas had caused the damage by raising Spencer. Portia felt that Spencer was a threat to Trina since Trina had acted out of character by throwing caution to the wind and following Spencer onto the haunted star. Ava understood Portia's fears, but she advised her not to try to pull Trina and Spencer apart. A messenger approached Ava and handed her a little envelope before Portia could respond. Portia admitted that she was startled by Ava's lack of worry after she slipped the envelope under her purse, because Ava knew firsthand what a wrecking ball the Cassadine family was. Ava admitted that some of the Cassadines were terrible, but Spencer had changed after the birth of his baby brother. Ava begged Portia to step back and allow Trina to make her own decisions. "Do better than I did," Ava encouraged. Ava swore that she wasn't attempting to teach Portia how to parent, but that she hoped Portia would learn from her mistakes. Portia praised Ava, but she refused to give up Trina. Ava remembered the mail that had been delivered after Portia had departed. She took the card from the mail and opened it. Trina contacted a lab technician at the hospital and inquired how much longer she would have to wait for the DNA test. Trina reminded the lab tech that she'd been waiting nearly 2 hours, so the lab tech apologized and assured that she wouldn't have to wait much longer. Spencer appeared out of nowhere. He overheard the conversation and informed the lab technician that Trina's mother was a doctor on staff. Trina raced to persuade the lab tech that she did not require any special treatment. "But if you have them, we will take them," Spencer added. The lab technician offered to look into it. Trina told Spencer that she didn't need him to fight her battles when the young lady walked away, but he reminded her that they had agreed to always aid each other. Trina admits to being frustrated because she just wanted the DNA test to be done with. "Regardless of the DNA results, Marcus Taggart will always be my father," Trina remarked. Trina went on to say that she hoped Curtis would always be a part of her life, regardless of the DNA results. Spencer admitted wishing he could say the same thing about Esme. Trina said quietly that it had been tough for her to watch Spencer depart with Esme, Ace, and Laura because they appeared to be a family. Spencer informed Trina that he would do whatever to get custody of his newborn brother from Esme. Trina expressed her sympathy for Esme because Ace was all she had. Spencer gazed at Trina with a smile on his face. "Trina Robinson, you're a genius," Spencer proclaimed. Spencer emphasized that Esme would never give up custody of Ace as long as Ace was the center of her universe. Spencer was persuaded that broadening Esme's perspectives was the key to changing her mind. Spencer recognized how selfish he sounded by discussing his concerns, but Trina assured him that she didn't mind. "So I guess we're stuck together," Spencer replied jokingly. "Looks like," Trina said, wrapping her arms around his neck. Spencer halted the lab tech because he had concerns about the lab's safety. Trina approached Curtis and the lab tech after noticing them. Curtis claimed that he had inquired about the lab's precautions because he wanted to ensure the accuracy of the tests. The lab tech informed Curtis that there was nothing to worry about and that Curtis and Trina's testing would be completed soon. Curtis apologized to Trina for getting his nose in people's business, but she assured him that he had a good nose. "I'm wondering if it runs in the family," Curtis speculated. Portia turned the corner and came to a halt when she noticed Curtis, Spencer, and Trina speaking. She approached and greeted the group. Spencer agreed when Curtis told Trina that she was not alone. "Then we're all in agreement. Trina always comes first," Cordia added. Laura greeted Alexis at her flat. Laura sat the two women down and stated that she was worried about Esme since tensions had been high despite Laura's and Spencer's efforts to make Esme feel at ease. Esme went through the living room with Ace on her hip, as if on cue. Laura yelled out to Esme as she approached the door to inform her that Ace's great-aunt Alexis had paid her a visit. Esme graciously smiled, but claimed that it was a poor moment because she was on her way out. Laura was intrigued by Esme's plans for Ace. Esme questioned why it was important. "Anywhere but here," Esme declared. Laura acknowledged that living with 4 people had limited her privacy, but she reminded Esme that she couldn't just go. Laura was reminded by Esme that she was an adult and that the accusations against her had been withdrawn. Esme questioned why she had been kept out of her trust fund when Laura pointed out that she didn't have any money. Laura agreed that Esme should have access to the funds, but until then, Esme had to prioritize Ace's needs. Esme stated that Ace was her entire world, and she would do everything for her kid. Esme, on the other hand, was sure that she wanted her independence because she couldn't live with people who looked at her sideways and waited for her to commit a crime. Esme complained of feeling suffocated. Laura sympathized, but she asked Esme to be patient. Esme informed Laura that she was grateful for everything Laura and Kevin had done for her and Ace. But Esme wanted to live her life on her own terms. Alexis, much to everyone's amazement, stated that there might be a method. After Esme had put Ace down for a nap, Alexis informed her that the invader was looking for a receptionist. Esme was disappointed and inquired if Alexis was hoping to keep her in town by chaining her to a desk, but Laura pointed out that other people would consider the job offer as an opportunity. Laura stated that she had worked as a receptionist at ELQ when she was Esme's age. Esme excused herself to check on Ace once he began weeping. Laura acknowledged that she was concerned about Alexis, since Esme might not remember all of the horrific things Esme had done, but that didn't mean Esme wouldn't revert to her former ways. Alexis reassured Laura that she understood what she was getting herself into, but Alexis was worried about Laura. Laura said that she had no control over Ace's fate because Esme did. Esme returned to the living room and declared that she would accept the position. While Alexis was telling Esme about the job benefits, Laura answered the door. Esme was pleased to find that the invader had a daycare facility on site. Alexis observed the envelope in Laura's hand after Esme retreated to her bedroom. Laura's phone rang just then. Anna had called. Anna inquired as to whether Laura had received a messenger delivery. Laura verified this, but she informed Anna that she had not opened the mail. Anna explained that she had received the identical package, which contained an invitation to Victor's will reading.